You know the feeling, right? You join this awesome online group, could be for a hobby, could be for work, and it's just buzzing. The vibe is amazing, the people are great, but then something shifts. It gets noisy, a little clicky, and that magic just vanishes.
So what happened? Was it just bad luck? A couple of trolls? Nope. What if I told you that the fate of almost every group isn't random at all? It's actually determined by a specific number, a hardwired limit that's literally built into our brains.
And that number is 150. This is what's known as Dunbar's number, and honestly, it's one of the most powerful yet overlooked forces in how we socialize. It was discovered by a British anthropologist named Robin Dunbar, and it's the hidden reason why your favorite communities either thrive or die.
So here's the science, in a nutshell. Dunbar figured out that the size of our neocortex, that's the wrinkly thinking part of our brain, directly correlates to the size of the social groups we can handle. Think of it like your brain's social RAM. For us humans, that number tops out right around 150. That's the max number of people we can really, truly know and maintain a stable relationship with.
I absolutely love how Dunbar himself put it, because it just makes it so clear. It's not about your follower count. The real test is this. If you bumped into them at a bar, would you feel totally comfortable just pulling up a chair and joining them for a drink? If the answer is yes, they're inside your 150.
Now here's where it gets really interesting. It's not just one number. It's actually a series of layers, like concentric circles. Right at the center, you've got your core 5. These are your ride-or-die friends, the ones you call in a crisis. Move out a layer, you've got about 15 people in your sympathy group. Then 50 close-ish friends, the ones you'd invite to a big party. And all of that lives inside the final boundary of 150. This is basically a map of your social world. And this is the key takeaway. The moment a group gets much bigger than 150, our brains just can't keep up. We can't track everyone, trust starts to break down, and that tight-knit feeling, it's gone. It gets replaced by the feeling of being in an anonymous crowd. It's not a moral failure, it's just social physics. So, if hitting that limit is basically inevitable for any successful group, what do? Well, you don't fight it, you manage it. The best communities don't just grow and break, they evolve. And that evolution follows a really predictable path. Let's walk through that life cycle.
Every single healthy community goes through these 4 stages. It kicks off with inception, moves into establishment as people start connecting, hits maturity when it basically runs itself, and then comes the big one, mitosis. That's when the group has to divide to stay alive. Knowing which stage you're in is everything.
Right at the beginning, in that inception phase, the founder is the engine. I mean, you're doing everything. You're creating more than 90% of the posts, you're setting the tone, and most importantly, you're handpicking those first few members who are going to become the soul of the community.
But then, if you do it right, the magic starts to happen. As you hit establishment and then maturity, the community takes over. First, members are generating over half the content, and pretty soon, they're doing almost all of it. Your job totally changes. You stop being a content creator and become more of a gardener or a party host, organizing things and protecting the culture. And this is where so many successful groups hit a wall. It's called the growth paradox. It's that point where adding new people actually makes the group worse, not better. It dilutes the culture. This is that mitosis stage. And the only way to save what you've built is to split the group up on purpose, creating smaller, focused offshoots.
Okay, so if you have to split the group up to save it, how do you make sure that original magic, that special DNA, gets passed on to the new subgroups? Well, you have to build it on a solid foundation from day one, and that foundation is a set of clear, non-negotiable ground rules.
Here are 4 rules that are an absolute game changer. They look simple, but they create true psychological safety. Confidentiality is obvious, it builds trust. Respect is key, especially the no unsolicited advice part. No war stories stops people from one-upping each other with past drama. And no crosstalk is huge. It encourages people to share their own experience, not to tell other people what theirs is.
And this is the whole point. These aren't just boring regulations. They're a signal. They broadcast a very clear message to everyone. Hey, this place is different. This is a safe space where people like us can actually be real and be vulnerable.
But even with perfect rules, there's another, more subtle trap that even the best-intentioned groups fall into. Let's dig into a hidden pattern that can totally kill a community's soul, the good vibes only trap.
It's called toxic positivity, and we've all seen it. It's that relentless pressure to always be happy, always be optimistic. It sounds nice, but what it actually does is shut down real, messy, human emotions. Because when someone's having a hard time, the absolute last thing they need is for someone to say, just look on the bright side.
This right here is so important. Think of it as a little script for creating real connection. On the left, you've got those phrases that seem helpful but actually make people feel worse. And on the right, you have the alternatives that create space for real feelings. It's the difference between everything happens for a reason and simply, I'm here for you. This shift changes everything. Okay, we have covered a lot of ground here. The science, the life cycle, the rules. So let's pull all these threads together now into one simple, clear blueprint you can actually use.
If you remember just one thing, make it this slide. The whole strategy boils down to these three things. Dunbar's number is your non-negotiable architectural limit. The community life cycle is your strategic roadmap. It tells you what to do next. And your ground rules are the safety guardrails that keep everything from flying off the tracks.
And seriously, just by understanding these three ideas, you now see the hidden architecture behind why some groups feel electric and others just don't. You get it. You're in on the secret that most people, even people who run communities for a living, completely miss.
But I want to leave you with one more question. We've talked about the size of a group, but there's another universal law that's always at play. It's a law that says the tiny, tiny fraction of members will always create almost all of the value. So what is that law, and how do you use it to your advantage?
We're going to get into that in a future explainer. For now, if this was helpful, do me a favor, share this with the best group admin or community manager you know. You know, the one who's always trying to make things better. It's the perfect way to let them know that you see them, and you get what it really takes to build something special.
If this touched your heart, please subscribe, like, and share it with your family. Save this for more meaningful content ahead.